I literally think that like, and not even super religious at this point, but I think that God was like, just can't be this guy. It can't be Rockfest dude that ditched you. It has to be anybody else. We're gonna get you to meet this guy in a far away land. Yeah. Like you're gonna have to meet him at the en route, babe.
Right.
Like it can't be this.
It can't be in the tent at Rockfest.
Yeah, it can't be this guy that's filming. Like it was so wild. We would get like super drunk and he'd just start filming me. Which now, where are those videos? Actually, I looked them up the other day. Some of them are on Vimeo, which I thought was just something that like rappers referred to in the 90s.
Yeah, no.
I didn't realize Vimeo is still active. Vimeo's still active. Do you guys know that? Vimeo is still active.
Is it like flagged with your name? Like, could we find it?
It literally says Tamara Shevon.
Overstimulated. Today, our fabulous guest, we're getting overstimulated with Tamara Shevon. Tamara has been on Just for Laughs. You've got 2 fantastic comedy albums out, Table Wine and Purse Wine, and you're going to be celebrating your anniversary this evening. That's what I heard.
I am.
You were saying that your anniversary with your man is actually on 9/11?
Yes. It actually sounds worse when you say it like that. I usually just say the month, September 11th. But no, when you say 9/11, I really just seaplanes. But yeah. Yeah. So that's when it is.
And you 2 collided into each other. And have been inseparable since.
Can't break us down.
Can't break us.
My gosh. This is how we open. Okay, great. Yeah. So we are celebrating later. I spent our anniversary in Croatia with his mom.
Oh, wait, was he there also?
No.
Okay.
Me and his mom went on a solo trip.
Wait, you guys are buddies like that?
Oh yeah, shared a king bed the first 2 nights. Like really fell asleep, like talking to each other, like full on, like.
Oh my gosh, that's intimate.
That's very intimate.
So you were celebrating the anniversary of being with his mom.
Yeah,
also.
I was like, I'm celebrating me getting to have you in my life.
Right. And how long have you guys? Ivan is his name, right?
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
5 years.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
Isn't that wild?
That's too long, Tamara. What are you doing? No,
I'm just kind of like, I guess this is forever now.
Yeah. Did you see yourself like being in a long-term relationship like that, like on vacation with someone's mama? Like,
okay, for sure. I don't even want to go on vacation with my own mom, so no, I did not see myself being on vacation with his. No, I never wanted to be married or have kids. Never used to be a thing that I wanted, and then just kind of happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, damn. Have you changed your thoughts on like being married and having kids since meeting him?
I heard it's cheaper, so yeah, like to get married. So I've changed my thoughts.
No, it is.
Change my thoughts.
If the CRA is listening, we will be betrothed for tax purposes.
And now you have this evidence that we have been together and are actually in love.
Right.
Yeah.
And you met him at, you were saying, a rock concert.
Okay, so I met him. This is so wild. People are going to learn so much about me today. I met him at Rockfest, which used to be a concert that happened every year in Montebello, Quebec. And it's like 3 days of like punk, heavy metal, like a bunch of different types of like.
Are people doing like French metal?
Well, like Rammstein was there. Like, it was like crazy.
Ooh, okay.
Oh yeah, Queens of the Stone Age. It was like they were the headliners. I went for them. Also, I went for Good Charlotte, which everyone made fun of me about.
This is a safe space.
It's a safe space.
No, it's okay. Back in the day, if you can believe, even though I'm wearing a button up right now, back in the day, like 2009, My Bloody Valentine, that saved me from all the heartbreaks I was going through in
that song was so okay. Like, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous is a great album, and I know people are going to chirp us for this really hard, but My Bloody Valentine was great.
It was great.
But yeah, so we met at Rockfest.
Yeah.
I was there with a person I was dating at the time. Yeah. And so I'm not a cheater, don't worry. But he was like really into film. He's still very into film, thank God, because that's what ruined our relationship. You better be into film forever, because bye.
Like he was too obsessed with it, got in the way.
He hopped a fence to go and film backstage illegally and left me at Rockfest.
Oh no.
Like left me like in a sea of like thousands of people alone. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go film. Do you want to hop this fence with me? And I was like, do I look like I hop fences? And so he just was like, okay, see you later, with all his gear, hops over, bounces.
Oh my gosh.
And then Du Hast is like playing in the background. Like first, like I'm like, okay. So I'm standing by the fire.
Do you still cry when you hear Du Hast now?
No, now it's gonna be our wedding song. I mean, Ivan. So I'm like, it's all about hating somebody, but whatever.
And that's beautiful.
That's love and hate, very thin line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was there and he was coming out of the mosh pit. I guess he was like so drunk from the mosh pit. And he spends all year, he told me later, working out to be able to mosh. That's how, like, he gets, like, ready to go into mosh pits. Like, oh, yeah. No, this is, like, this man. Like, I can't go to any metal concerts with him. He starts working out months beforehand, gets ready. Like, he has his boys he meets in the pit, whatever.
Okay. It's like, does he trains with them or he's, like,
no,
solo?
He trains alone. Isn't that wilder? Yeah. This is, like...
You know, people do whatever they need to do to fight their demons. And if that's all he's doing... Like, you got yourself a decent man.
That's all he's doing. Everyone's like, do you ever wonder what he's doing when you're not around? I'm like, I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He's listening to metal, being like, ugh, getting ready for the next concert.
Yes.
So
he's like, Taylor Swift is preparing for her Eras tour with the same amount of cardio and vigor.
It's literally like when we get ready for something and we like start our skin routine months out before we go on a
Really?
trip. That's like what he does for like moshing.
Wow.
It's wild.
Okay.
So he comes out and then he's like, what are you doing standing by yourself? And I was like, oh, like I was with someone. And
had you met him like previously? This was literally that moment that you first met. Okay.
And I was like, oh, I was with someone. They left to go like film. He's like, oh, that's weird. And then he hung out with me for the whole set. And then we were like jamming and like, you know, rocking out together. And then finally at the end of the concert, everyone's walking back to the campground. Like it's like 40 minutes later and this guy just comes like scurrying over. Actually, I wouldn't say scurry because that would mean fast. He just casually walking over with all of his like film gear. Left me for like literally 2.5 hours. Just like didn't
your
care.
ex coming back. How long had you been with the ex at this point when he abandoned you at Rock?
That's like on and off for like a year.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, like
oh my god.
Oh, like we were together. It was nuts. And so then I was like, I met this guy. He's like, he's getting all mad. He's like, what are you doing hanging out with this dude? I was like, oh, coming from the guy who literally disappeared, Casper.
Right.
So, and so I was like, you have Adderall in your car. Like, we didn't have anything that we just have beers. I'm like, go get some Adderall.
Yeah, at least you can do is make this a fun time.
Yeah, and he's like, you got to come with me. I was like, no, I'm going to hang out with this guy that I just like met. Because like, then we were going to hang out at other people's tents.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he was like, I don't like the way this guy's like hanging out with you. And I was like, he's just a cool guy. He's just a friend. We were like, honestly, it was just so friendly. We were friends for 2 years after that.
Oh, before you started dating.
Yeah. So what happened is that our tent flooded because this is so funny. The guy that I was dating at the time put it up wrong.
There were so many signs, Tamara, where God was like, this is not your man. Yeah. There's flooding. There's escape.
Literally. The first night, our tent almost flew away. And the second night, it flooded. And like Ivan always says this to my mom. He's like, that's the reason I'm with your daughter because I could actually put up a tent. And I was like, that's so gross. But don't say that to my mom. But like, hilarious.
Damn. Okay, but also he sounds like not a great man, but his intuition was not wrong about there being like, a vibe. Yeah.
I guess, right? Well, I mean, maybe if you didn't ditch me every time we hung out.
Maybe let that be a lesson, man. If you can't put up a tent, like it's kind of going to be over for you. Like that's basic survival skills.
And if you can't put up a tent, don't hop a fence and leave your girlfriend. Like... And so the tent flooded and we had to leave. Like we couldn't stay over on the Sunday night. And I was like, okay, we're going to drive back and stay in Ottawa for a night. Ew. And then not only just Ottawa, the parking lot of the Metro.
No.
The parking lot of the Metro is where we stayed. Yeah, because he didn't want to, like, it was his shift to drive, and he's like, I'm too tired. It's like, well, I'm too tired.
Yeah, you're the one with the Adderall. How are you tired?
Yeah, and it's your turn.
Yeah, you're like, I got us this far.
Like, what is happening?
Oh my God.
So we slept in this, like, I didn't have any information from Ivan, like, whatever. And then we
didn't get, like, his Instagram or anything like that?
No.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, weird. So then we were driving back from Ottawa when we woke up in the parking lot. And then we ended up in an en route, like a little like gas station pull-off area. And as I was walking out of the en route, he was walking in.
No.
Yeah, and he's like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I was just telling everyone about how cool you were.
Oh my God.
He's like, and I realized I didn't get like any details for you. He's like, can I get your phone number? I'll come to one of your comedy shows so you do comedy.
Cool.
He's like, and I'll bring some of my friends. And I was like, okay, cool. So we just like hung out for 2 years.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy. So also if you hadn't have seen him in that fateful King City. I don't even know where the en route was, but if you
it was in Gananoque.
The Gananoque en route.
Yeah.
Shout out, ladies, if you're looking for love, just go whore yourself.
Can and not quit. It's not just for cheap gas.
You can pick up a man there.
You can pick up a whole man
You
there.
can pick up a whole man after you've been abandoned by one at Rock.
Truly.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
So then you were friends for 2 years.
Yeah, we were friends, and like we were just like he watched me date so many shitty dudes.
Oh, damn.
And he was like, hey, like one guy missed my birthday completely. Like he was around the corner.
No.
He was at another party around the corner. Missed my birthday, came in at 3 a.m. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't want to intervene. But like, he's like, if that's what your boyfriend's doing, like, I feel like you could find a better one.
Oh, and he's like, also maybe me.
So because he was so nice and
Yeah.
like giving advice, I never thought it like that was a thing. Because I'm so oblivious. We're always oblivious to the guys that are the nicest.
Did you think you were friend zoned by him?
Yeah, I was like, well, it's just kind of like whatever.
Did you think he was handsome?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know, whenever the windows pass, and then he came to hang out with me. I used to work at the Smiling Buddha, which is a bar, whatever. Anyway, it was a place
Downtown in Toronto?
Downtown.
Yeah.
And he came after a concert, and then his friend and I were hanging out, and then we all went back to my place. And he's like, "What do you think about Ivan?" And I was like, "Oh, I feel like the windows like passed." And he's like, "I would check the window again." And that's the only reason I knew that there was even a thing.
Oh my gosh.
And so then we were just like sitting on the couch, and I was like trying to be like cute, and I was like, okay. And then I went to go do like a little handhold, and then he held my hand, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then the next weekend, I was like, do you want to come over? And then he like came over, and we like hung out at a comedy bar, and then like he came back, and then that was like our first night that we hooked up, and then I was like, oh my god. And then 2 weeks later was September 11th when we finally started dating. What a long walk to get to that answer.
No, that's so amazing. I love that it started in heartbreak, because I feel like especially like women forget this. Like the classic trope is like girls going through a breakup is like, my life's over, everything's ruined, and then guys are just like, yeah, it's fine. Like I'm gonna go on 5 other dates right now. But like I think people often forget, especially women, that like a new relationship starts from like breaking up with like an old one crumbling. You know what I mean? Like if you had not been like, yo, this guy's kind of a loser, you would have never found like the love that you have now.
Well, I literally think that like, and not even super religious at this point, but I think that God was like, just can't be this guy. It can't be Rockfest dude that ditched you. It has to be anybody else. We're gonna get you to meet this guy in a far away land. Yeah. Like you're gonna have to meet him at the en route, babe.
Right.
Like it can't be this.
It can't be in the tent at Rockfest.
Yeah, it can't be this guy that's filming. Like it was so wild. We would get like super drunk, and he'd just start filming me. Which now, where are those videos? Actually, I looked them up the other day. Some of them are on Vimeo, which I thought was just something that like rappers referred to in the 90s.
Yeah, no.
I didn't realize Vimeo is still active. Vimeo's still active. Do you guys know that? Vimeo is still active.
Is it like flagged with your name? Like, could we find it?
It literally says Tamara Shevon.
Okay, so it sounds like he gave you a free demo. Like,
yeah, but I'm like, how do I download this? It's like, what?
Can you watch it? Is it one of those like password protected ones?
No, I can watch it.
You can, okay.
I hope. I didn't click on it because I was like, this is so wild.
Like, I don't need to see this
I'm
anymore.
like, this can't be part of your portfolio.
Yeah.
Which it is. It's literally a part of his portfolio.
He missed on you big time.
Well, yeah. Well,
honestly, like he could have got more content.
He could have.
You're beautiful. You're hilarious. You're confident. Like there's so much more that he could have gotten.
He could. But we went to Costa Rica this year, me and Ivan, and he apparently, like, when I was leaving, he's like, hey, you and I are in Costa Rica. You should come hang out with me. I'm in San Jose. It's like, why would we all hang out?
Right. No. Yeah.
Even when he came back in town, he was like, do you guys want to all go out for dinner? And Ivan's like,
the 3 of you guys?
Yeah, like, what planet?
No, Tamara. Okay, never. I've had some weird dating experiences, but never in my life has the offer or thought even came up that I would go on a double date with an ex-boyfriend or like.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
Okay, so you're still in your toxic era. So yeah, no, because I used to do this really toxic thing where I'd have all my exes come out to my birthday. Or like, I'd invite them all and see who like liked me the most, who got the angriest. I was like crazy. Yeah, I was. I could hear an audible "oh my god" from the distance.
I love you so much.
Oh yeah, and I was just like, watch them fight over me and like try to be cool, get drunker and drunker, and then
wait, so they would actually show up?
Oh, they would show up because I didn't tell them that any of the other ones were coming, and then
they're
ready
to fight.
And then they're like, we're not going to leave because that's going to show that we don't care about her. And then I just like, once I had 6 of my exes there, and one of my friends had to pull me aside. She's like, this is toxic. You're not a good person. Like, you can't do this. And so, yeah, that's kind of the turning point. But
I would at least have had a camera going somewhere so you could turn it into content.
Isn't that crazy that I just did that for me? Like, what's wrong with me? I did get into therapy soon after.
You did.
I did.
I
have two therapists. Yeah. One fired me, but she still checks in, and then the other one, yeah, 'cause she's like, I think she fired me and then felt bad.
You're like, I can't help you with this.
She's like, oh, you're crazy, but then I think she was like, wait, but are you okay? So like every 2 weeks, she's like, just wanted to say, have a blessed day, hope you're great. Yeah,
that's really sweet that she still checks
she's like,
in.
if you ever need anything,
yeah,
just here for $175 an hour.
I'm just like a friend, except
yeah,
you have to pay me your whole savings.
Yeah, I'm a friend that costs the amount of your mortgage.
Yeah.
No problem.
But tell me everything, sweetie. You'll be fine.
Literally.
But that's so funny that we need to go back. We need to go back to all of your exes. What was going through your head at the time when you were like sending out those messages? Do you remember?
Yeah, because I was like, are they really into their new girls or like? Oh. Yeah, and so then when they all came and they were all getting like pissed off, I was like, you shouldn't be with your girlfriend, but you also can't be with me. Crazy. No, I was like, it was a problem.
Do you think like, were you looking for a sense of control?
I have a control complex. Did you know that? Did you look that up? Is that on the internet?
No, it's not on the internet. I was just using my intuition to infer.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, how'd you know that? Yeah, I have a really big control complex that I'm working on in therapy.
Oh, very cool.
But I like to yeah.
Is that like, because for me, like when control comes out through therapy, like it's something like anxiety. Like where for me, it's like that's where my anxiety stems from most of the time, where it's like there's a situation or a person or something that I'm trying to exert control over, but I don't have. And then I just end up like spinning in my head. But I should have just been inviting all my exes to my birthday party.
You have a couple years left. I think 29's the cutoff. But
when you reach 30, all your bad habits just crystallize.
I think 29 needs to be when you're solidifying that you're going to get out of your toxic era. And then 30, you can like start to be an adult.
Okay. Is that the trajectory that happened for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had a relapse at 31. Yeah.
Okay, so you had 1 year, maybe like 8 months when you were 30, where you're like, I've got this.
Yeah,
like,
I had a year where I just started fucking my exes, but that's the same ones. Oh my God.
I mean, they came to your birthday party, they made an investment, you know?
Yeah. It's like, we need you to come to Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, crazy.
What did Ivan, your current boyfriend, think of the exes coming to the birthday party? Was he around when that was happening?
He was around, actually. I never mentioned it.
It just didn't come up.
Yeah, a lot of things haven't come up. A lot of things won't come up. And he won't ever watch this. So.
It's fine.
So,
it's like
yeah, it's just like, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Do you think, like, what's the biggest thing that you've learned from relationships in your 20s?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think probably that my intuition's always right and that I should have just followed it. I think that, like, I didn't follow my intuition for a long time on things that were happening. And so, like, got cheated on a bunch. But I also cheated on a bunch of people.
Okay. So, what goes around comes around.
Maybe it wasn't intuition. Maybe I just knew I knew the blueprint. That is cheating behavior.
Did you also abandon somebody at Rockfest?
No. I wouldn't say cheated a bunch. I would say that I was starting new relationships as other ones were. That's sounded so toxic.
No. But you were like you're not cheating, but you didn't give yourself like the breathing time that maybe you're like.
I could have just waited a week on a lot of those.
Yeah.
And then it would have been just not cheating at all.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's surprising to me that you've had all this heartbreak in your life, Tamara, because you strike me as like probably one of the most confident people I know.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get Botox next week. Are you crazy? I'm literally trying to get Botox and like Ivan's like, I will break up with you. I'm trying to get it discreetly enough that he won't notice, but like it turns out what I actually want are fillers.
Oh.
So I don't know, like right under here.
Okay, you're like, no, it's actually all a shame.
It's actually a lot more.
I think you can still be confident and dabble in plastic surgery.
That's relationship ending for him, and I actually was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But his cousin, it's like, don't make your cousin own an entire Botox clinic.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have such an in.
I know.
He has a well-connected family because I've also heard that he has a cottage as well.
Yes. Yeah, cottage.
That's huge.
Huge.
That's really huge.
The cottage is huge. The cottage is so big.
Is it?
It's bigger than any house I've ever lived in.
Like how many bedrooms are in it?
1, 2.
Oh my gosh, she's got to count.
4, 5.
It's a mansion.
Wait,
it's a mansion on the lake.
4. There's 4.
Okay, it's a full home. It's a
full home.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
And you grew up in Scarborough, not in a 4-bedroom mansion.
But you know what? To be fair, I grew up in Scarborough in a 5-bedroom house.
Okay.
But I grew up right on the border of Pickering, and it was a beautiful house. But I went to school in the pits of hell. So, like, when I would get on the bus to go to school, I would see like everything deteriorating on my way, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And so, like, first day of school, first week of school, someone got macheted, which I didn't know was like a verb.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, I grew up in Hamilton.
Yeah.
In like the outskirts. So
I'm sorry about Hamilton.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But other than like the decaying steel mills and my parents being like, don't go downtown, like that was like kind of my experience. Yeah. We didn't, like, Hillary Henderson, famously the whitest person on the planet. Like there was really not a lot of struggle in my life. Like
that's nice. There was still struggle. It's just like and once there was like we were really close to the zoo. And a bear escaped. That was one of the biggest days.
Really?
Yeah.
At least it was like, I don't mean to say just a bear, but like, I don't know, like
just a bear.
In my head, I could roundhouse power kick a bear.
Have you been close to a bear before?
Oh yeah, I used to work in Algonquin Park, so like black bears.
Ew.
Like
Okay.
Ew. I said I worked in Algonquin Park. Too. I was like, ew.
Sorry, I've been coerced into camping.
Yeah.
And that was a triggering
You're
thing
not.
that you
You're
just
not.
said.
You're not a fan of camping.
Are you?
I am. Yeah.
Oh. Dude, camping's nuts.
This story fight. Like this.
Well, no, it's just so much money to be like so homeless.
That's.
I can't.
No, but again, like white people, like we didn't get that. I didn't get that experience, you know. So we gotta pay. We gotta pay for that kind of.
Even the car camping where your car's right beside your thing, I can't. I'm just like
that's not.
I'm like, why don't we just sleep in the car?
Yeah.
At this point.
No, that's a very good.
But like
point.
to be fair, the last time I went camping, I did 10 grams of mushrooms.
Oh, nice. Anything's fun after that.
No, I actually ended up getting in a canoe backwards and canoeing in circles for a while. We couldn't figure out why we were canoeing in circles. That was me and Ivan. And so, yeah, I think that I don't need to go back to that situation.
That's so unfortunate. You didn't see any bears though when you were on mushrooms?
No, but I lived in Waterton Lakes National Park in Alberta. So
okay.
I almost got attacked by a grizzly. Well,
Wait,
almost.
How did you live in this massive park and you hate camping?
It was my school job.
Oh.
Yeah, so like for 4 months of the year I lived in Alberta.
Oh my God.
And like that's where hired me.
That's where. Okay, well, this was kind of my experience in Algonquin Park, where like I was there for like summers and like university and that.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if you remember, there was a TikTok trend going around. I guess like this was maybe like 6 months ago, and this street interviewer was going around asking all these women on the street, like, if you had to be alone with a man or a bear in the forest, who would you pick? And everybody was like unequivocally bear. Like everybody was like, I would rather take my chances with a bear than with a man.
So yeah, okay, I've heard this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I would choose a man, but like it's like a lot of people are like, no, men are way more dangerous. And I'm like, I'm pretty charming. You know what I mean?
You're like, I could totally hit it off with a man. A bear would be harder.
It's like I can out manipulate a man before they kill me.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. Well, you would just invite him to your birthday party.
Hey, King. I got like a birthday coming up once we get out of this cabin. Yeah.
It's gonna be a really fun party. My ex is gonna be there with Adderall. You should totally come.
Yeah, you should totally come.
The bear's like, no, I'm just gonna bite your face off.
The bear's just like, oh, this girl's fucked.
But it was so funny because when that was happening, I was thinking like, well, so in, I don't know if you had to do any training like this when you were working
the ambassador training.
But we have like bear training.
Yeah.
And like I remember specifically in the training, and everybody would laugh at it every year. It was like, introduce yourself to the bear as human. And so, like, it would be like, don't eat me, bear. Yeah. We both have our hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like, it's supposed to be like, don't eat me, bear. I'm a human bear. Like,
And
you're like,
walk away
surrender.
slowly.
Right. But, and it's like,
make yourself bigger. Yeah.
Just make yourself big, stand your ground. And then it's like, if you do that with a man, he's just going to call you an ugly bitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
You're gonna be like, your hands are up. Oh, she does surrender. Like, oh,
like
man.
this girl. I know. And then, like, even with pepper spray, like, you know, they tell you to have that. I'm like, I feel like I could probably pepper spray a bear better than a man.
Oh, 100%.
To be honest.
It's the answer is, I guess, with the bear though, like you don't have a lot of time.
That's true. You gotta be quick reflex.
Like that's the whole thing. Like bears they're not like thinking like saying your name to a bear. They're like not gonna speak back to you. It's not Paddington. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, okay, weird. This thing keeps talking. Bye. One swipe.
Wait, actually, so maybe it's better to be killed by a bear because at least a bear won't abandon you at Rockfest.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? A bear will jump over a fence, but it's only to kill you instantly. Perfect.
He's gonna be super polite about it, just like out in one swoop. Like he's not gonna lead you on for 8 months and then be like, "Yo, maybe I'll come back to your birthday party."
How wild!
That's so
have you ever had anything like that?
I've never had a situation where I've invited all of my exes to my birthday party. No.
Try it.
Maybe I will.
I'm not even joking. Actually, try it.
Maybe I will. I've definitely been guilty of the, you know, when you watch a girl's Instagram, like you can tell when she's going through a breakup because all of a sudden she's like posting ass pics constantly. I've definitely
ass pics
been there.
in between quotes.
That's the woman breakup special of just being like, gotta know your worth, and then it's just like me like blackout with my titties out. Like,
it's so crazy.
It's a
wise man once said, "Where's the butt crack?"
T. Shevon 2024.
Honestly, thank you.
Take credit for that. But it's funny. So going back to the idea we're talking about cottages, I think the worst time a man ever broke my heart, he invited me to his family cottage. And like he was just being weird the whole fucking weekend. His parents were there too. So I was like meeting his family for the first time. And like, I don't know, I was just kind of like vibing with mom in the kitchen. Like everything was fine. And he was just being so weird. And I just thought he was like having like a weird mental health day or something. I remember at one point asking him like, are you good? And he's like, no, everything's fine. We get back. I don't hear anything from him like that week. Like he's like hardly communicating with me. And I'm like, bro, I just like spent like 3 days with you and your family. Like, what do you mean? There's whatever. He comes to my house like that weekend and is just like, yeah, like I can't do this anymore. And just like dropped me immediately after that. And I was like, I'm never going to a cottage again. Like,
what?
Yeah.
What was the reasoning?
He was just like, oh, this is all happening like really fast. And I was like, yeah.
Oh my
sure.
gosh.
But like, what, you know?
I love when men are like, oh, this is moving so fast.
I'm like you were leading. You were leading the whole time, my guy.
What do you think it's gonna happen?
Right. Yes.
Like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like everything. You think we're just gonna hang out, and I'm gonna be like, and let's
just
keep
do this
it
indefinitely.
Right here. Yeah. Let's keep it right here. Don't ask me any further questions.
Yeah, let's never
don't
move
bring me outside
forward.
of the city center.
No, yeah. Actually,
like,
don't even bring me outside.
But it's like, why did he bring you to meet his whole family?
I know. Honestly, I think there was like a bit of like a mentee breakdown, which like it happens. It happens to the best of us, but not when you're using like other people as like collateral like that. That's just like, yeah.
How long were you dating for?
Oh, like months, like.
Wow.
Like a few months, like 4 months maybe. Like it
that's
wasn't like
a lot.
long, but like, you know, significant in this like modern dating.
Yeah. Well,
like
I don't know how people are dating these days.
Yeah, it's
no, it's the ghetto out there. It's like, wow. My friend got ghosted at dinner.
Really?
This guy went to the bathroom and just never came back. Like, what is happening in Toronto?
Oh my God. That's just, okay, here's the thing. I think with like dating apps, like, yes, they're a great tool to be able to connect with other people, but I think it's so unfortunate because I think we've stopped seeing like other people as actual people and just like.
Clearly.
Like, oh my God, like where's the human, you know what I mean? Like it takes 2 seconds to just be like, you know, I'm not feeling this. Like my algorithm's also full of like, women that are like beautiful, stunning, but they exist in bigger bodies. And it's like them being like, I'm going on a date, and then like them being like, I'm so excited, like this is how you met this person, whatever. And then they're like back in their car in tears, being like, yeah, so
sorry.
that you're laughing at this part. No, but they're crying and they're like, the date lasted 2 minutes. He saw me and was like, no.
Sorry.
What's happening for you right now? Why is that so funny
I'm
for
just
you?
picturing you watching this and being like, I'm just picturing you watching the story and it over like 8 minutes being like the date, the car, and home. Yeah, and you're like, whoa.
I know. But it's just like...
I just can't, like, I can't document that. I refuse. No,
oh my God.
I refuse.
I could never.
How's the date? It was great. We're married. We're married. No further questions.
I'm actually going on vacation with his mom next week.
And no one can ever meet him. I'm lying. Trust and believe I'm lying. Like, are you crazy? So Red Lobster ghosted? So like, no.
No, yeah.
Like, Red Lobster's back though.
But
Happy
it's
about
like,
that.
Yeah, Red Lobster. Is it the biscuits? Is it the biscuits that do it?
No,
for
it's
you?
the lobster.
It's the straight
It's
up.
the really shitty lobster.
Babe, you could just go get like...
I should have just said biscuits.
You could have just gone to the metro parking lot you guys were sleeping in and got like some fake crab. Like
I could have. Oh my God. Crab, it's not my favorite though. I'm a big lobster girl.
Okay.
Like I need the butter.
The imitation, when you put it all in butter, it just all tastes the same to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta get you some good crab.
Yeah,
and
will you
some good
take
lobster.
me to Red Lobster?
No, I'll take you to a good place.
Okay.
I'll take you to a place like where you'll see the difference.
Damn.
I'm a pretentious eater. Like I know Red Lobster doesn't sound like it, but like I am.
What's your death row meal?
Ooh, it would be lobster.
Okay.
Actually, lobster and like a scallop mash.
Ooh.
And then I think I would go for asparagus over broccoli.
Nobody gave you those choices, just to be clear.
I think I would go for asparagus over broccoli.
In your head, you're like, I need a green vegetable.
You're like, obviously you need a vegetable. So yeah, and then creme brulee for dessert. Do you get dessert in jail?
Yeah, I think in this jail you can.
Okay, great. And then obviously like maybe a ceviche appetizer. I love seafood.
Okay, so you gotta love seafood. When you were in Croatia with your boyfriend's mom, were you guys eating seafood?
She hates fish. Yeah,
drama.
Yeah, it was wild. It had a lot of lamb. We actually went to go see like their family on the farm, and then we went to a restaurant, and then the cousin leaned over. They're like, "This is our lamb." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "No, like this is our lamb," as in like they bought the lamb off them and then made it in the restaurant. So I was like, "Why don't we just fucking eat at your house?" Like, what is happening?
Why did it come out all this way?
Yeah, I just drove to like the Highlands to eat the lamb that's at your house. Okay.
That's crazy. Was it a culture shock for you coming into his family?
Yeah. Yeah. Like saltless food. It was a culture shock, girl. I was like, you guys gotta figure this out. My mom can't come over for holidays at this point. She's too rude and she'll say something.
Really? To him or to
the whole family? My mom's she's a Jamaican Jew. Like she's just like you don't need two outspoken cultures together.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll tell you to your face. I used to come downstairs and get ready for school and she'd just be like, ew, to my outfit. And that's how I knew to go change.
I feel a little bit less bad that you did that to me earlier today.
I didn't. I said it was a really cute outfit 10 years ago. Yeah, it wasn't even me. Yeah.
I was giving you a compliment. Like, no.
It was a compliment for 1998. Yeah. It looks cute.
No, so
Only you could pull that off right now. If I was wearing that, people would be like, "Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Like, are you okay?"
Thank you.
So,
do you feel like with your mom insulting your clothing choices and that, like, do you think is that why you picked bad men?
Ooh, she also picks bad men, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on her 4th engagement. Like, we're all okay on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and she's engaged again. She's 77.
Great.
Yeah, and like in her defense, my dad died. So like, so like she's not like she's just like hoeing it up.
She's a widow. She's
but
ready.
Then she did find a new fiance with my dad's name. So that's all. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, yeah, and that's me great because like now you won't forget his name. Like, I guess, and now just remember the memories of dad. So that's good.
I was like, I don't drink that much wine that I can't remember like your boyfriend's name.
And like whose name's Donald anymore? Like truly. Oh. This guy.
Yeah.
This guy and my dad.
And Donald Trump.
And Ronald McDonald. Which his name's Ronald, actually. It's not Donald. Hi, I'm McDonald.
McDonald.
Yeah, so Donald's I guess people don't Donnie, I guess that's Donnie.
Is that his nickname?
No, but that's like the nickname for like white guys named Donald, right?
Donald? I guess.
They're Donnies?
Yeah, I don't know any Donalds like that personally. So
No Donalds at 27?
Yeah, actually, I'm not like thinking about like what would be a cute pet name for me and my new man Donald. Like,
what are the most common names that you're finding these days with
dating?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been on so I have a new boyfriend. Only like
I know.
a little bit. Yeah, the other night.
What's his name? Are you allowed to say it?
We can bleep it out later. His name's Clayton.
Ooh,
but
that's a hot
was
name.
I finding? I did date like 3 Gregs at one point. Yeah, for no reason.
And not even in the UK. That Greg's such a UK name.
Is it? Oh.
Everyone's Greg.
There's Greg. Yeah. No, there was like actually
3 Gregs. That's nuts.
One of the Gregs was the one we talked about this in another episode, but one of the Gregs put a finger on my butt. And it was not, it was like a first encounter, first hookup kind of thing. Like literally met him that night. And I was just kind of like, oh, I was not expecting that.
Finger up the butt's, it's like eating ass on the first day.
It is. Like it was just,
Did you enjoy it?
No, I wasn't like, I wasn't like ready for that. I wasn't expecting like that. I'm the kind of girl that's like, if you're going anywhere near my butthole, like we're getting married. Like we're actually already married at that point. Because I also have IBS. And so like,
what?
I'm just terrified that like.
So you don't tell people beforehand, like being like, hey, butt stuff's like, you'll have to let me know 48 hours in advance.
I feel like that's common knowledge though, is it not? I don't know. Like,
have I done butt stuff on the first night? I used to lead with anal. Sorry, is this a PG podcast?
No, okay. Actually, it's super PG.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you're gonna have to delete a lot.
You used to lead with anal?
Yeah, sometimes I was like, I don't like,
Did you grow up religious?
No. Well, I grew up in 2 religions.
Okay. Oh, right. You said you're
Jewish, so I guess
mother.
and then my dad was Christian.
Okay.
So my whole weekends were just spent doing like nothing fun. Really. So no, when you grow up in 2 separate religions, you kind of end up not really caring about either of them. That's like kind of what happened. You're like, I get. Yeah, you're just like, well, you guys both pretty much have the same thing, but you had to write specifically different books. So
I was like, I'm not reading both of these.
Yeah, and they're all the same, but it's just like the way they say it.
Yeah.
You're like,
okay, so you weren't taking up the ass for religious reasons. That was purely because.
No, I don't. Yeah, why? Again, toxic era.
Toxic era. You were like, I know there's so many moments where I look back in the past where I'm just like, oh, maybe if I do this, he'll like me. He never ends up liking me. And also I end up just hating myself because I've like done something I like didn't really feel excited about.
Yeah, it's hard to recover from like certain. Anyway, that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
you have to like eat certain stuff after a while and like.
Yeah. Do you miss being single?
Whoa.
Not that like you don't love your relationship.
No, I'm thinking about it. I think I do at times, but I mostly don't. I hate having to like, I don't know. I feel like being single back when I was single was super fun. I would hate being single now. So
like
I think
you would rather be single pre-dating apps?
Yeah, 100%. I was the worst at dating apps. I was on them for like 2 weeks and I just like everyone unmatched me. So I'd just be like, hi.
Yeah.
And be like, you can do the rest. And they'd be like trying to make conversation. And I'm like, okay. And I just like wouldn't respond. And then they'd be like, okay. And then unmatch me. And I'd be like, oh, it's weird that guy unmatched me. And it's like, well, why? Like, have you spoken to him? Yeah. And I was like, oh, no.
I'm seeing a pattern. The way you treated the men on the dating apps was like how your mom treated you in your outfits. You were just like, nah, boring. Ew. Like,
you know what? Thank you. I'll bring that to therapy. I will bring that there.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're connecting the dots.
We always end up with a therapy moment on the podcast.
I'm like, you know what? My therapist needs to see this episode. She can see how much work I've done. If my therapist sees this, then she'll be like, wow, you are amazing and you've graduated.
Oh, you are amazing. I don't know. Like,
I feel like she thinks that I'm like insane.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
If anyone's going to think that, it's going to like your therapy. You know, that's why you have a therapist, so that you have somebody to speak unbiased opinions.
But I'm like,
to.
I should probably get into a diary like thing again because I'm like, do I want a therapist or do I want someone to find this later and then like my future kids can make so much money?
Also,
off
because
of
you're an
toxic
entertainer and writer, like people would go through that.
Yeah.
Like if you put my name in your will, like Hillary Henderson, please read all my diaries publicly. Like,
oh my gosh,
I would
publicly?
Do it.
That's so funny. Well, because I was reading when I moved, anytime I move and live somewhere else, I have like a journal. And then, so I found my one from China when I lived there. And I was like, whoa, I really just like wrote every single thing that was happening, which is like, why would I do that?
Right.
But I was like, a part of me was probably like, maybe someone will find it.
Maybe one day. Well, it's nice. It's nice for even if no one finds it, like just for you to go back to like
I
that.
found
like,
it?
Yeah,
Like,
you found it and you're like, I forgot that version of myself.
Yeah,
but speaking
truly.
of living in China, that's where you actually started doing comedy, isn't it? What was that like?
It was wild. It was wild because there's like a very small expat community there.
Okay.
And
I'm
now,
sorry, what can you tell everyone why you were there?
oh yeah, okay. So I was a global studies professor. So I worked at the Beijing Institute of Petrochemical Technology.
Okay, you're casually the smartest person we've ever had on the podcast.
Yeah, so I have like a dual degree in like communication studies and global studies. So I was teaching the global studies program. And yeah, so I was working there. I was the youngest professor they ever had.
Wow.
At the university, but I was also only 2 years older than my students, which like is something you don't want because you get bribed a lot. And then, like,
did you ever date a student?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how people do that. And there's so many female teachers that date their young boy students. Like, when I see how dumb people are, it's already a turnoff. Especially when I'm like, I've taught you this and you're dumb still. Why would I want to fuck you?
Right? No, he's not. He has poor pattern recognition. He's not good at taking instruction. It's going to be a horrible sexual encounter.
But I was looking it up, and a lot of the cases of people that like end up in these like student-teacher relationships, they're all female teachers mainly. And I'm like, what is going on? Don't you already have a husband? You have to like pretty much treat like a child,
right?
And now you want an actual child? Ew, dude.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
So we had an expat community,
and you weren't fucking anybody.
I was fucking no one, and people would go out to comedy shows. So I'd go and watch comedy shows every week on Tuesdays. There's only like one place you could really go. And then I would hang out. I was like a comedy groupie. I would like hang out with all the guys after the show.
At this point, were you kind of thinking like, I could do that? Or
yeah, well, I've been told my whole life that I should do comedy, and I used to write a lot of things down that happened to me and like put it in group chats with our friends and like whatever. So then I had all this stuff ready to go, and I was pretty drunk. And then they're like, you should do comedy. And I agreed to do it for the first time ever on my birthday.
Oh.
And so my first ever set was on my birthday in
Birthdays
2014.
are very special for you. They're comedy anniversaries. They're
the reveals. Reveals. Birthday reveals.
And you're a Sagittarius, right?
I am.
I remember that about you. So this is very on brand.
It is on brand, isn't it? Like so on brand for Sagittarius.
Totally. Yeah. And that first night that you were doing stand up, like, were you kind of like, I could do this? Like, this is what I'm gonna do?
I did so well on my first set. I went like 3 minutes over. I was supposed to do 5 minutes. I did 8, which like don't do that. But I was like, okay, sick. And then like 3 weeks later, I did my first ever like paid show.
Yeah.
Called Ting Budong, which means like I don't understand.
Okay.
Which is like so crazy. Because it was like a full Chinese show. And I never looked back.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so then when did you stop being a professor?
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, fair enough. I moved home July 2014. So that was the ending of my contract.
Okay.
So I flew back on Canada Day, which was like wild. And then July 4th, I did my first ever set at Comedy Bar.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that? Like, so you gave up, it sounds like kind of like a traditional career path in the sense of like, you take a lot of education to be an instructor. Like,
yeah.
Were you seeing it that way?
No, my dad just got sick, so I had to move home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just, instead of me renewing my contract, I didn't want to have to be like on a like 14-hour flight to like make it back in case he passed away, which is like he would have died right in the middle of my midterms.
Oh my God.
So it's good that I went home.
You came back for that. Yeah.
Because I was like, I guess I predicted the future.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, you said like his health wasn't good, so you were like, okay, I'm gonna
he was
come
also
home.
86. Like, don't worry. Like,
Okay, yeah.
It's not like it's cool that he's dead, but it's like
yeah,
it's fine.
It was his time to go. Yeah.
It was his time. He was like 15 years older than my mom. So like, don't.
Do you ever miss like being a kid with him?
Yeah, that's the other day when I was riding a bike, I was like, I would have never known how to do this unless he taught me.
Right.
Like also like all those like cool things, like all the sportiness of me, like he is the one that got that, and like he was the one that taught me how to like manipulate my mom to get stuff I wanted. Because I guess he was good at it.
It's like, you have to learn. You have to learn.
He was the one that got me to
things.
eat pork for the first time because I wasn't allowed to eat pork.
Oh, because your mother was Jewish?
Yeah. So I wasn't allowed to eat pork, so he would like sneak me out. My first ever rib was from Loblaws. I mean, he could have done better, but like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like he's the one who gave me all those like rebellious first experiences. So every time I'm doing something toxic, I'm like,
it's being the Mew King.
It's daddy.
It's like, was he a funny person also?
He's so funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
I feel like the line between funny and manipulation is like quite thin. Because like at the end of the day, I think like using humor as a tool to connect with people, like you have to be empathetic. Like I don't
Yeah.
think it's not necessarily coming out of like a place of like malice, because you have to know like how a room full of people or another person's going to interpret what you're saying. But then it's so funny because sometimes I'm like, I just lied for 10 minutes on stage, and I'm
Isn't
just like,
that so
okay,
wild
and
when that happens?
I was rewarded for it.
I know, easy there, Hassan Minaj.
Finally, we're firing shots at someone that's not my outfit. Like,
But no, really though, it's like, you know.
yeah.
Sometimes you get a little carried away. Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
You carry it away.
Okay. Speaking of comedy successes,
Yeah.
Tamara, I want to talk to you about your 2 albums,
Yeah.
Table Wine and Purse Wine.
Yes.
Those are iconic names. How did you come up with them?
Okay, actually, funny. Purse Wine is, if you listen to the album, that's my toxic era. So if you want to know how toxic I was, you'll find out about the homeless guy I dated, like all these things like in there. Like I was so toxic. I was like banned from wine racks in the city. Like I was like stealing the samples. It was like holy.
Can you give us like a little bit of a sample of how those interactions all went down?
Wine rack? I was banned from 3 wine racks in one day. I'm allowed back now.
Okay.
But wine racks, like, you know, a store where they have wine in there, but then they do this really stupid thing where they like pour out feature wines, like 30 samples at once, and let you try them. Now they only do 1 sample at a time, which I
Okay.
think I actually am the reason.
You
why.
caused change at Loblaws,
So
actually.
I literally would like pre-drink for dates when I was so broke. At wine racks, so I'd drink like 30 samples and be
Yes.
like, I'm not sure I kind of get the notes. And they're like, get the fuck out of the store. So yeah, banned from a few. So like Purse Wine is like my era of when I was so broke, but I was doing comedy and I needed to be able to go and get my face out there and my jokes out there, but I
Yeah.
like could barely afford. I would like steal the GO train. Like I would like try to pay for one way, or like I'd have to get off if I saw a fare inspector.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
and then I didn't have money at all to like be, because my mom was like so mad that instead of me going back into teaching, that I decided I wanted to be a comedian.
Yeah.
so
Was
she's like,
that after your dad passed that you made that
Yeah.
decision? Yeah.
And she's like, I refuse to like fund your life like
Oh,
this. So she's like,
wow.
you need to go back into corporate. Because
Yeah.
I like had like I either did like corporate sales or like in marketing, or I would do like global studies stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's why I got 2 degrees, because I felt like I was always conflicted.
Do those
Like,
things. Yeah.
do I want to
yeah.
be like a corporate person that doesn't care about people, or do I want to be like a humanitarian
Right.
person that like doesn't make enough money?
Yeah.
And I always was so conflicted. And so
Yeah.
I was like, a comedian, it's like a bit of both. And she's like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And so she wouldn't give me any money. My sister was really good at that time. She'd like slide me 20, be like, okay,
helpful.
try to like
yeah.
keep that for the week, which is like, those were the days.
Yeah.
And so I'd bring wine in my purse. So I'd go and get like a $8 bottle of wine. And then I would like fill up water bottles and I would bring it in my purse, and I would go around and I would like want to be social and interact with people, but I
Right.
didn't have the money to buy like
Yeah,
drinks.
yeah.
So I'd get like 1 glass of wine and I'd keep refilling it in the
like, with your
bathroom. So
purse
that's
wine.
like the purse wine. Yeah. So it's
that's
super illegal.
Super illegal. Also
Yeah.
super iconic.
Yeah. So like that, the whole album is about like my journey of trying to like find myself and through comedy, but like also being able to like be socializing and
Yeah.
like, so, and then Table Wine is all about like me growing up finally and being able to like get the wine of the person, like be able to buy wine on the table.
Yeah.
It's like I've finally made enough money that I can like order, of course you're cooking wine, but still order wine right to the table.
You're right.
And I could like pour it, like they could like pour it out and I could be like, yeah, I like
mature.
did that. I've matured. So like
Matured,
it is like
yeah.
a maturity, like, because it's like between Purse Wine and Table Wine was 2 years.
It's your arc.
But yeah, it's like my character arc.
Yes,
But like
yeah.
Purse Wine's like 8 years of my life. So it's like kind of like growing up and like realizing how
Yeah.
like
what was
comedy's
it?
helped.
Can I ask you a little bit more specifically about like giving up working, teaching or corporate? What was that like, or like how did you find the courage to be like, I'm just gonna do this?
Yeah. Okay. So I was working 100% commission job when I was going to quit. I was working like door-to-door sales, 100% commission, rain or shines, like winter, summer, no matter what.
Ew.
And there were like a few days.
And see, sorry, I can't believe you didn't believe me when I said like you're confident. Like I don't think anybody goes like door to door in the rain and being like, I'm just a little wallflower. Like
That's fair. And I was like the top sales rep in Canada for like multiple, like, yeah. I
damn, okay.
And like,
okay.
but I was like, why am I doing this for
Yeah.
a corporation that rhymes with Dell? And
What do you mean your life's passion wasn't to sell software?
and instead of like doing it for myself. So it's kind of just like I applied all the things I learned from door-to-door sales and doing all that and just applied it to my comedy career. So that's kind of like why when people are like, it's so hard to produce a show, or it's like, no, you know what's hard? Selling TV, internet, and home phone in like fucking Mississauga.
Where everybody's like, no, actually,
slamming doors in your face and they're like trying to do like, you Rogers? Like that's that's was brutal. So like me being like, oh, I have to get on Canva and make a poster, like also
I'll be fine. Yeah. But that made you used to, like, I would imagine, like, you're used to hearing no over and over again, which set you up perfectly for a career in entertainment.
Literally, I'm used to hearing no, and I'm used to like not making money until I do.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like everyone's like, oh, I want to like skip all the steps. And I want to be able to like make money. It's like you can't make money in comedy unless you've done all the steps.
Yeah.
You can't really like jump ahead, because then you get to a point where you jump ahead and then people expect all this stuff from you, and then you fail, and it's an even further fall from grace. It's like so embarrassing.
Yeah.
That you can't really come back from that.
Yeah.
Like it's like, would you rather fail early?
Yeah.
And keep failing?
Yeah.
Or like
and
everyone think that you're better than you are, and then fail.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, we're not giving you that opportunity again.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you've embarrassed yourself in front of like a crowd where it mattered or something like that.
And that's what our scene is right now. It's a lot of people that try to skip ahead. And there's a lot of shows that suck.
The scene in Toronto you're saying is like very,
There's a lot of shows where you go and you're like, 2 people on the show are good and then 6 are bad.
Right.
And it's like, well, because they all started shows and now they're all on each other's shows. And like, we're amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to do a show with pros only.
Yeah.
So you can see like, oh, that's what it sounds like when people laugh the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. So you weren't doing the Keenan Presents competition.
I literally like, and this is the thing, this is how I knew our scene was at a low. I couldn't stop hearing jokes about it.
Right.
And I was like, it's the same joke.
For folks listening that aren't in the comedy space, it was Keenan Thompson's company or something that was running a competition in Toronto. I don't know who
I've done no research into that. Oh, Allie Pierce won.
Allie Pierce won.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. We had Allie on the pod a couple weeks ago. I'm glad she won. That's great.
So it like the way that they did it wasn't ideal, but it still produced the same result.
Yeah.
It produced the result it should have. It's just we didn't need any of that in between.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and it's so sad because I think like you were saying, the amount of people that joked about that, it's like even when they're
the same joke though. It's the same joke. It's like we're beating a dead horse here.
I know, guys.
And I'm like, and this is why the comedy's bad.
Yes.
It's like you guys are all doing like synonyms of the same joke.
Yeah.
Like, how much time do you think I have to scroll today?
Right.
Like, it's just nuts.
Yeah. And so you're actually on tour right now.
I am on tour.
You are on tour.
Yes.
And it's called the Passive Aggressive Comedy Tour.
Yeah.
You're, again, killer with names.
Oh, thank you.
Can you give us some context on how did you guys come up with the name? Where you're going to be? Where can everybody find that?
Yes. Okay. So I came up with the name because the people I'm going on tour with we're all pretty passive aggressive. It's me, Monica Gross, Rebecca Reeds. And the tour is kind of like an essence of like all of us, all of our personalities together. Just like responding to texts, like very like K period, LOL, I guess, vibes. And so the 3 of us, we decided like I went to like apply for grants and like do all this stuff. And I finally like had a nice breakthrough and was able to like fund a lot of the shittier parts of a tour, like the accommodations and like the flights. And then I like I ran a show with both of them at Comedy Bar Danforth, and then wanted to see how the vibe would be with all 3 of us, and it went really well. And so then I was like, okay, surprise guys, we're going on tour. So yeah, we have like 18 shows and 12 stops. So amazing. We just did Sarnia and Kitchener, then we go to Ottawa, and then to Winnipeg, beautiful Winnipeg, and and then Vancouver, then Newfoundland, and then we're kind of back in the city with like Toronto, Oakville, Hamilton, and then we end in Halifax.
And that's all happening this winter, but before 2025?
Yes. So we'll be done on December 23rd. So,
amazing. Okay, so it's the next couple months for you.
Yeah, and it's really funny because like everyone's been pretty receptive. It's like we didn't want it to be like a tour where everyone's like 3 bitches, like girls. Like I just like I'm over the branding of this, like of where people are just like, well, it's immediately going to be not funny. So it's like, no, we're women, but we're gonna be passive aggressive a bit, but it's gonna be fun. But like because of the name and the vibe of it, people thought we were on like a 3-woman lesbian tour. which has been
wait. So there's so many gay girls showing up, being like, "Yay!" and then being like, "Wait, what?"
It's like we fuck, man.
Wait, all three of you are straight, right?
I'm bi.
You're bi.
Rebecca's bi, I think too. Yeah, bi at best.
Yeah,
is what we. But like the fact that they're just like us. 3 lesbians going on tour. So like, yeah, I think that people are just kind of like, we have to accept this tour.
Oh,
we have to accept
great.
this stop because like this is our diversity lesbian stop.
Right.
And it's like, okay, they think we're just gonna come in with like pussy lips and be like, we're here. So I don't know. But anyway, we're booked.
We're booked. You're booked. You're busy. You're out there. You're on the road. And I actually think you guys are the only women that are touring in Canada right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no one else touring.
Yeah.
At all, ever. We are the only ones.
Don't even bother.
There's no other tour to look up. Our tour is the only tour to look up. Passive Aggressive Tour. Linktree / Passive Aggressive Tour. Nobody else.
There's no other option.
There's no other option. We checked.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, Tamara, it was so great having you today. Thanks for getting overstimulated
with us. Has it been a fucking hour already?
Yeah, we've been rolling for an hour. The time flew by. Is there what are your socials? Where can everybody find you online so they can keep up with you in the tour?
I'm like sad this is over. Okay.
We can keep talking if you want.
I have to go to work.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. I refuse to call it X at Teemair, TEEMAIR. And then you can check out all of our dates for the Passive Aggressive Tour, the lesbian tour, at linktree.com / Passive Aggressive Tour.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. See you next time. Bye. There you go. That was so fun.
So fun.
Thank you.